favor, everybody, like the video, subscribe to Burn It Down with Kim Brown on YouTube. Consider following us places around the internet at BIDWKB. That's us on Instagram, Twitch, at Burn It Down KB on Twitter. What's up, Facebook? That's BIDWKB on Facebook as well. So, where should we even begin here? Because the atrocities continue to pour out of Gaza, as we know that the southern part of the country near Rafah or in Rafah and all around Rafah, the whole country really, but everybody has been forced to evacuate to Rafah, and now here come the Israelis bombing refugee camps, bombing schools, killing over a dozen children, maiming hundreds of others. The relentless violence does not seem to abate in any way, shape, or form. So, what are we doing here? What is America doing? Well, punk ass Joe Biden announced that he has a three-part peace plan. Okay. The problem is Israel don't give a fuck about your peace plan. Okay. Benjamin Netanyahu is ranting and raging like an unhinged mass murderer, right? He's giving big, not only I can't even he's giving big genocider energy, not fuck authoritarian, fuck all that shit. No, he's giving killer energy. He doesn't want to stop until every single person in Palestine is eliminated and that there's no chance for the people to ever return back to their country. So, but the Biden administration is trying to push this bullshit peace plan that is already not leaving the pier, right? So I want us to look at some clips here. We're going to start with the coverage from Al Jazeera English. And we're going to look at succession of three clips. So the first one is going to be the spokesperson for the U.S. Security Council. Okay, part of the Biden administration. His name is John Kirby. John Kirby is trying to make the case that this peace plan could have a deal, and Joe Biden is here to lead the way. Okay, but that clip is going to be followed by some commentary from Al Jazz political analyst, Mr. Marwan Basharna. Yes, Bashara. Marwan Bashara is going to come back and let us know why John Kirby's statement doesn't make any sense. And then we're going to see a clip from a recent briefing at the U.S. State Department where the spokesperson there really continues to give Israel's rather version of the events, where not only the refugee camp was bombed, but the school was bombed, killing 14 kids. The State Department continues to show deference and trying to give credibility to the way that Israel has been self-reporting its war crimes. I'm like, this person from the State Department just needs to go on to the IDF Twitter page and see what's going on in real time, because they are telling, the Israeli soldiers, they themselves are telling and showing and documenting with pride their atrocities that they are doing to the Palestinian people there in Gaza. So let's take a look at this coverage from Al Jazeera English.
The proposal that the president laid out on Friday is an accurate description of the proposal itself. It is an Israeli proposal, arrived at after intense diplomatic conversations with us here in the United States, of course, and our team. But it was an Israeli proposal. It is a phased approach. And phase one has got to start so that they can start to negotiate what phase two looks like. It's not that the Israelis haven't said they're committed to phase two. They're committed to a phased approach. But what the deal says is, if you can get phase one implemented, then the two sides can start to talk about what phase two looks like and when it can start. And while they are negotiating phase two, that ceasefire will stay in effect beyond the 6 weeks. The United States will guarantee that we will work to ensure Israel meets its commitments. And the deal also says that Egypt and Qatar will work to ensure that Hamas meets its commitments as well. All that's baked into the proposal.
There was an Israeli proposal, basically embraced and expanded by the United States, then marketed by President Biden, and then somehow undermined by Prime Minister Netanyahu, saying that he will not accept a ceasefire with Hamas because he will not end the war until it achieves its objectives. President Biden is now putting pressure on Egypt, Qatar, and Hamas to accept a deal that Israel has not. And the Americans continue to talk about guaranteeing a ceasefire. But in all honesty, who trusts the Americans with the Israelis? On the red lines of Rafah, these red lines became green lines. Who can trust the United States when it talks about humanitarian aid anymore? So who can trust the United States to use its leverage with Israel come the next phase of this deal?
We've seen the reports on the ground. We've seen the videos from the ground. We've seen the claims that 14 children were killed in this strike. And certainly when you see, if that is accurate, that 14 children were killed, those aren't terrorists. And so the government of Israel has said that they're going to release more information about this strike, including the names of those who died in it. We expect them to be fully transparent in making that information public.
Oh, well, at least the State Department acknowledges that 14 children bombed in a school by Israeli forces aren't terrorists. Oh, but I guess them being innocent civilians is not enough to yank the chain on your out of control rabid dog over there in the Middle East. Not even enough to say something harsh or to condemn this latest atrocity committed by Israel, this latest instance in which children were intentionally targeted for murder, for execution. The brother in the middle who gave the second clip, Mr. Marwan, he said, no one believes the Americans. Of course, no one believes that. No one has ever believed them. He knows that. But for him specifically to allude to these atrocities in Rafah in saying Joe Biden's red lines are now green lights. Israel can't show anymore their depravity towards humanity. They've proven it thousands of times already. And it's obvious that with each of those times, the United States is never going to rebuke, reprimand, or do anything meaningful to stop U.S. bullets, bombs, munitions from falling in Gaza. Interesting also that the State Department acknowledges that these 14 children were not terrorists. So why were they targeted for killing? Maybe that should have been a great question. Maybe someone did ask that question. The United Nations, I think today, put Israel and Hamas on a so-called blacklist, singling them out for the way that children have been murdered by their military forces during the course of this war. And it's so cowardly to throw Hamas on the list next to Israel, as if, proportionality speaking, right? Israel has far exceeded the amount of children who have been killed compared to Israeli children killed by Hamas, right? It's shameful the way the international community is still both sidesing what's happening in Israel. Okay, we're the ICC. The ICC is going to issue these warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and his defense minister and Hamas leaders. Oh, oh, so I guess if Hamas leaders turn themselves in, Netanyahu is going to turn himself in, right? Right. We know that's not happening. The amount of also continued support from not only the Biden administration for Israel and its ridiculousness, but the way that even members of Congress are trying to punish countries who autonomously are taking, albeit small, maybe inconsequential steps to show its opposition to the genocide that's happening in Gaza. You guys have heard of the Maldives? A place I would love to go visit, and doubt I will ever make it to the Maldives. But the Maldives is, I believe, what, an island nation in the Indian Ocean off of is it the Horn of Africa? Off of Africa's east coast. Beautiful place. I follow pictures of resorts from the Maldives. I said, oh, They have these gorgeous over-the-water bungalows all over the clearest water. Well, the Maldives said, well, hey, if you are an Israeli passport holder, no vacations for you here in the Maldives. No, we don't think we want open settler colonialists who are perhaps in support of an ongoing genocide. We don't think y'all should be able to come to our lovely island nation and vacation. That's it. That's pretty simple. I don't think anybody has a human right to a vacation. I mean, yes, you have the human right to have time off and to not work. And hell, there should be maybe a human right to go travel. But if for a reason a country is not fucking with your country and they say you can't come here, hey, you kind of got to eat that, right? So a New Jersey congressman, and unfortunately his name escapes me right now, but I know he is a Democrat. Maybe our Jersey folks that are in the chat can skewl us if you could. A Jersey congressman has actually introduced sanctions against the Maldives for them using their autonomy as a nation to say who they want and don't want, rather, to come to their nation to visit. And the congressman said, you can't do that to white people. You can't sanction white people unless it's Putin and them. The only acceptable sanctions on whites in which other whites tolerate. You can sanction the shit out of Russia, but the rest of the whites, no. Speaking of the rest of the whites, guys, I want you guys to check out this clip. This was posted from Quds News, which has been doing a really impressive and incredible job of documenting a lot of the horrors that have been happening, not only in Palestine, but also atrocities that have been happening to Palestinians, unfortunately still living in places like occupied Jerusalem. So this clip that we're about to show is that we're about to show Israeli occupation forces attacking a funeral procession of a Palestinian youth. And this is not something that we have not seen before, by the way. This is part and parcel for how the settlers operate in terms of the levels of terrorism that they will rain down on Palestinians. Palestinians cannot even mourn their dead in peace without Israeli occupation forces showing up and with intentional deliberation fucking up the funeral. Now, this is reported to have happened at the Lions Gate in the occupied city of Jerusalem. This clip, again, from Quds News Network. Let's take a look at this.
بدو ציוד רגע?
You know, there has been a lot of people not only on the ground in Gaza, but those that are stateside who are in touch with those in Gaza have said that even within Israel borders where Palestinians live, some of them live like they're in occupied Jerusalem. They said that the Palestinian folks who are not in Gaza proper, or pardon me, whatever the artificial line is, that these folks have been staying in the house. The Palestinians who live in the West Bank, right? They have been staying in the house. So for them to come out for a funeral, knowing that something like that was likely to happen, this is how dangerous it is. I mean, just in Gaza, in the occupied city, in the occupied West Bank, it's so incredibly infuriating to know that these like routine attacks on the Palestinian people, on their lives, on their bodies, on their lands, on their cultural sites, on their healthcare system, on their infrastructure, on their funerals. Like I don't know how anyone could not look at this and instantly conclude genocide. Like they are trying to erase the culture and the people of Palestine. And it's almost comical to hear the reverse being lobbied at Hamas or at Palestinians as a whole. Oh, they want Israel wiped off. They want Israel's and Jews wiped off the face of the earth. I haven't heard nobody say they want Jewish people wiped off the face of the earth. They want the people that's living in Israel to step the fuck off. They want them to go back to where they came from, which is Europe, which is Brooklyn, New York, which is all the places around the world that whites have been, with the exception of where Palestinians have been for thousands of years. They just want them to go back to where they was before 1947. Can y'all go there? Well, I want to bring a bit of sunshine to this darkness because resistance is happening. It's happening in the north along the Lebanese border. Hezbollah is out here giving the Israeli forces some work. And you guys may remember this. A journalist I think he's a journalist. I think he does several things. Ali Mortada, right? I had expressed the giantess of crushes on this Lebanese man who is on TikTok, absolutely talking his shit directly to Netanyahu and the Israeli forces. And he always begins his videos with the very best introduction I think I have ever heard. And it's so awesome and proper. But I had been concerned about Ali because I had not seen him post videos in a while. And in his older videos, he was openly, calling for IDF forces to come drop a bomb on him. And I said, oh shit, I hope that hasn't happened. And it hasn't. Ali has resurfaced on TikTok. And he's still coming with the heat. And I appreciate to know that he himself is doing well. But this man speaks with a confidence that I don't think that an opponent in a war would take this tone if they wasn't really putting in that work. If they was getting beat, yeah, maybe. I don't fucking know. I want you guys to listen, and we have two clips from Ali, so let's check out the first one.
May you have a very, very, very
Started from the
bad day,
beginning. You
and
guys
it
started
seems
from the
that
very
you are
beginning.
having.
Well,
Hello, my enemies. May you have a very, very, very bad day, and it seems that you are having a very bad day. You saw the fire in Kiryat Shmona, and also West Galila catch fire. Now Safad catch fire. So I have a little bit of advice. You can use this medicine, Mebo. If you don't have this medicine, you can use Bayafin. The smell is better from Mebo. And if you don't have this two versions of this medicine, there is an Iranian version of this medicine, but I don't know if it's gonna work on Israeli people. I don't know if Iranian medicine work on Israeli people. Anyway, if somebody of our enemies has a house that catch fire or a land that catch fire, we will buy it even if it's burning. You can take money and go wherever you came from. Anyway, and you must tell your army, do not use the missile of the Iron Dome like this. Yani yesterday there is a missile of Iron Dome hit Naharaya and the building catch fire. Today a missile of the Iron Dome hit a soldier in Safad and he's injured. So you must concentrate. Tell your army to concentrate. I hope you have a very bad luck. Take care, ya bibi.
He's dreamy. He's kind of dreamy out here. Whoa. I appreciate him saying about the Iron Dome maybe having some misfirings, because at the end of the day, guys, the losses that the Israeli forces are suffering, or the casualties, you're not going to see that reported much here in America. America wants you to think that Israel is I guess just stomping, and in some ways it is. But it's getting tagged right there back. And if not being tagged by Hamas forces directly, Hezbollah said, we got y'all in the north. Oh, you want to do something? Do something. I want to play the second video from Ali, because again, these are his most two recent ones. I think he posted these in the last couple of days. And it's a confidence that's almost hard to articulate. I believe him, when he's saying that his forces are doing what he say they doing. I kind of believe him. Will, let's run that second clip from Ali Mortada.
You have a very, very, very
Start
bad
from the
day.
beginning. You gotta hit it from the beginning.
Hello, my enemies. May you have a very, very, very bad day. Guys, I'm talking to you from the beginning of the war. Don't threat a Lebanese. You are always making the same mistake. Today, Netanyahu was in the north. He threatened and he said that we are ready to go to a big war with Lebanon. You know he's not. But he threats, and the Lebanese people don't take threats by a goodwill. They have a very bad response to threats. Now you make them to kill 2 soldiers in Harfish. 4 are injured and a critical condition, and 20 injury. Don't threat the Lebanese, guys. Don't threat the Lebanese. Don't make them angry. It's very dangerous. So now everybody is living in the north to Naharaya. You are hearing the bombing in Naharaya now? You make them angry. Apologize to them and behave yourself. Behave yourself. Please. For your good. Take care, ya baby.
Whew. Take care of yourselves for your good. I believe that the rolling of that R had some weight, has some gravity to it. Listen, when a man is telling another man to apologize, dog, you need to apologize here, because we're about to bust a cap in that ass. About to bust a cap in that ass. And listen, again, I don't know much about the Lebanese people beyond they have delicious food. Absolutely. The Lebanese have, that I'm aware of, I'm sure they have way more, right? But they have delicious food. And if the Lebanese mandem is coming through like Brother Ali there, shit, they got some fine men too who are apparently about that action. When he says don't threaten the Lebanese, I believe him. I believe him. I just, have a sense in which when people are either conveying the truth or their truth. I have a feeling that Ali is telling both, right? He's telling his truth and the truth also when he says that Netanyahu should not threaten the Lebanese.